Good evening, good evening. Welcome you guys to another show with your girl Lay Liddy at VIBE95. How are you guys, South Florida's hottest reggae and hip hop radio? How are you guys? It's your girl, always here with you guys, sharing with you guys. Now, I have been doing something new and improved, and this show has been bringing you guys in every week, bringing you guys different people, different music mongrels, actors, actresses, so many different talents and caps that come onto this amazing show. Now, tonight, it is it's an honor for me as well because literally I eat, breathe, and been waiting for another season and our new show and been bleeding this show. And you guys are not gonna believe the amazing talent we have tonight. We're gonna bring him in so he can bring himself in. Come on in, VIBE95. Bring him in, you guys.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Mcclay, otherwise known as Andy Stark from Game of Thrones, and I am here on VIBE95. Big shout out to my main man, Big Kenny, for bringing us all together and allowing me to speak to you today. Good to be here. The North remembers. Yes.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Oh, listen. I know, like a lot of people's like, oh, a lot of actors and actresses come on here and they got a fake. Please tell the people what is in your blood, where you came from, born and raised, so they know it's no fake.
I am from Northern Ireland, and I've lived here all my life, and I'm really trying to like clean my accent up, because if I was to talk how I usually talk, no one would understand me. So
Really?
this is a cleaned up version of how I would speak.
Wow.
I'm really pronouncing.
Pronunciating and bringing all the words out. I love it. We always love it. We always listen. Mr.
Well,
Mcclay.
it was a case of, I did that Game of Thrones documentary, and they had to put subtitles on it because that's the way I usually talk. And they had to put subtitles on that. I remember I went to they screened it in the cinema, and I just went, put subtitles on this because nobody can understand me. So I'm really cleaning it up.
So when you were watching yourself in the cinema, did you're like you understood, of course, because it's you speaking to yourself, but you knew that yeah, we're definitely gonna have to add some type of subtitles because people are not gonna get it.
Yeah, the producers of that just went ahead and added the subtitles because, yeah, they knew that. I think most Americans who were over here, because the production crew was all American, they would be talking to you and just nodding, looking at you.
Because you're like, yeah, we get it. We understand what you're saying.
They have no idea what I'm saying. Roll a camera. Let me kill some Boltons. That's
right. That's what you came here to do. Like, let me kill what you want me to do.
Yeah.
So tell me about this experience when you first walked in to this acting scene that you got brought into a delivery, because this is literally meant this acting position was literally meant for you. It was created for you. You literally became the character for years. You gave us beautiful scenes and amazing seasons. Greatness. Sorry, greatness. I'm a fan of Game of Thrones. So if you see me drift off and remember some episodes and come back to you, I'm a big fan. So I'm gonna just put that out there. You are amazing. Well, tell me about that experience walking on set.
I was always a theater actor. I've been a theater actor since I was 13 years old, and I never thought that TV film could give you that same experience, because you're in front of a live audience, and I love for that. So I never wanted to do TV and film until Game of Thrones came and filmed in Northern Ireland, and I was such a fan of the book series that I said to myself, whenever the show, I watched season 1 because I didn't join the show until season 4, but I watched the first 3 seasons, and I was like, I am going to get on this show. I am going to say something on this show, and I'm going to make an impression on this show, and I am going to live this. And it was my first real, and then I arrived on set, and it was just electric. It was the same electricity that I got from doing live theater performance. and just like watching Kit Harington, who plays Jon Snow, Kieran Hines, who plays Mance Rayder, King Beyond the Wall, interacting, rehearsing for a scene, and then whenever they shouted action for the first time, I was in Westeros, and I was at that 13-year-old boy just watching everything unfold, and I was like, this is it. This is where I feel alive right here, and I just kept coming back every single year, and I guess it was the fact that I was an extra, and um, the more and more, because whenever they shouted action, I wasn't in Northern Ireland anymore. I was in Westeros. I was in the Seven Kingdoms, and like I think everybody behind the camera could see that I was lost in it. This guy is really lost in this. Put the camera on him. So that just happened more and more and more and more, and then they started trusting me. I got the proclaimed Jon Snow the King in the North. I got a line in the show in season 6. And then it just kept getting better and better, So it was just the best time of my life.
And you explaining it, I can see the joy in your face and in your eyes. Like you could still relive when you first started in season 4, which is amazing. I can see the joy in your face as you speak on this. Working with all these great actors and actresses. For the first time, was this your first time coming on scene, being 13 years in theater? Is this your first time coming behind the film?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was. It was. I I remember just looking into how to become an extra on the show, and I didn't live in Belfast where the show was filmed. I lived in another part of Ireland, so I moved to Belfast to be as close to the studio as possible. And I just looked at everyone in the background because I didn't look like this. I was like, I had a bald head and I was clean shaven, and I was like, right, I have to make myself look like a warrior here. So I started growing a beard, I started eating more, and I started deadlifting.
So, I believe it, because you're huge. Like on film, you were a big man, and I was like, well, looking at your pictures previously, you weren't always like that. And and people say when they put themselves into an actor, they really do, and you ate it. Like you put yourself from being an extra to being one of the main actors under the North, and I love it. Working for the North was the whole movie, the whole series, not movie, the series that you guys put together, the producers and directors put together a really good setting. And for you to come in as you did, make an impact. Tell me about working with the legendary Jon Stark. Jon Stark. Sorry.
Oh, Jon Snow. Aye. So Kit Harington was basically he was a shy guy. So he was I remember he used to turn up because you gotta, like, we were filming the Battle of the Bastards in season 6, and he's in front of 500 extras in like an army, 500 extras, and we all knew who he was, but he has no idea who we were, So, but then what Kit used to do was he smokes. So, like, all the actors smoke. I think it's just a thing with actors because they're standing around for that long and they need something to do, so they all take up smoking. He used to come down, and he told us this eventually. He used to bring a packet of cigarettes on set, but he never brought a lighter, so he could break the ice with us to ask someone for a lighter and then ask us how our day was going, and then he really appreciated it whenever you just spoke to him And this is all actors who I've ever met. They just appreciate it whenever you speak to them like normal human beings, really, and just have what we call here the crack.
So that was his way of ice breaking with you guys, finding a way to
Yeah, just to clarify, crack is Irish for fun. It's not crack. It's
No.
Irish
I
for fun.
definitely. That's why I want to elaborate. That's why I put icebreaker right after you said that, so everyone understood you meant a way to come together, bond.
Yeah, yeah.
Icebreaker. Yes, that's his way.
Yeah.
I like how you clarified and specified and elaborated on that. Thank you for
Oh
that.
yeah.
So please tell us, you yourself, when did you start? You said 13 was when you started theater, but before that, what were your goal? What did you see yourself doing before you were into acting for yourself?
Always performing. I mean, I started really getting paid for theater when I was 13. But before that, I mean, my mother always told me I was a crazy, crazy kid, just really loud, really doing voices all the time, mimicking people off TV shows. So it was basically my mom put me into plays for free before I was 13. And then I started getting paid for them. And then I just started studying more and more acting. And I always just was happy just doing it in Northern Ireland or in Ireland, So yeah, I've always been into performing. I can't do normal 9 to 5 jobs. I've got to be entertaining people. I've got to be, it's just, and I'm what 37 now, and I just, it's never going to be. I'm never going to have a normal job because I've tried it before, and I can't do it. I can't do it. I have no interest in normal jobs. I have to be out entertaining, So it's just what I know I've been basically put on earth to do.
Yeah, your purpose on what you know is laughter, entertainment, and enjoying yourself because you clearly enjoy what you're doing, and we can see that
Yeah.
through definitely doing what you got to do. So tell me the beard regimen and the workout regimen. People are gonna need to know because there's no way you just sat there and just like and popped out a beard. What was the regimen to grow this beard out? Because I'm looking and you had no facial hair. You had a little bit of a little fuzzy, 5 o'clock showers. You had no facial hair before this show. What was
Mhm.
your detailed regimen to get this beard out here and get these beautiful muscles that you grew through work?
Well, I'm just I kind of guess like it's they put it bluntly. Growing the beard was easy because I'm just naturally hairy. I have a hairy back and a hairy arse, so growing the beard was like really easy to do. And then my brother is a martial arts coach and stuff and a fitness coach, so I went down and trained with him for a while. Like before every season of Game of Thrones, me and another 4 guys, we used to go and like put on weighted vests and charge up hills, just do lots of sprinting and stuff. That meant then, whenever it came to actually charging into battle, we were at the front going
The fastest and the hardest.
going crazy. So
Smart.
like,
Smart.
yeah, the directors would be like, "Who are those mad? You know what I mean? Those mad guys." At the front there, get them up because I want them to do this in front of the green screen, and I want them to do this. So it just meant you were always ready for it, and I always thought that you always needed a level of fitness because you would work for 15 hours a day on the show and sometimes through the night. So my fitness and then my love for doing it just got me through the entire thing. So yeah.
So, definitely. So this has been now is going to come since you were on season 4 and we're now on season 9, I believe, or season 10.
Oh no, it finished in season 8 there. Game of Thrones finished in season 8, so now what we've got coming is the new show House of
House.
the Dragon.
Yes. So
Yeah.
with that one coming out, is it going to be the same actors and actors coming back to the show, or is it going to be a sequence off of?
It's not. It's going to be set, and I'm not involved in this one. This is set because it's set 200 years before. It's set 200 years before Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and it's all about. There's going to be next to no stuff from the north in it. It's all going to be set around House Targaryen and in King's Landing. So they're all silver haired and stuff because they're all inbred and things like this. So like
you were gonna dye it silver and get in there. You were gonna try to flip it.
I won't be doing that incest stuff. They can do that. Starks don't do that. We're like normal. So like, we're the best house in it. So
the house of the Starks are definitely in there. I mean, obviously, clearly, the Starks definitely were the main family that everyone peeled off from. You being part of the most powerful family in the story. Mm-hmm. You going around and people seeing you. Do people still call you Mr. Mcclay? They're like, Stark. How do people go now that you are this great, coming from an extra, being this actor and known in Game of Thrones? How does that change in Ireland for you?
I after the show ended, I did a bit of extra work. I still done a few extra work things before I completely signed off from being an extra, and now I'm I've got an agent, and now doing theater and adverts and things. But I remember I was doing a TV show where there was two actors in front of the camera, and I was up on a building site, a construction site, and I had to take a wheelbarrow, and inside the wheelbarrow was a toilet, right? And I had to walk in the background with the toilet, right? Just across the screen, I had to walk across the, right? So the director shouts, "Action!" And I'm walking with the toilet across the screen. And then I'm halfway across, and he just goes, "Cut, cut." And I thought, what have I done wrong? All I'm doing is wheeling a toilet across in this wheelbarrow. And he just goes, "Cut." And then he just looked from behind the camera and he pointed at me and said, Are you that guy from Game of Thrones? Andy Mcclay? And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, can I have my photograph with you?"
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So he jumped down, got his photograph with me, and then jumped behind the camera, and he goes, "Right, yeah, go back to the start and we'll shoot you."
And we're going to do that again.
Now it's just back to that then, So, but the whole thing with me is I still do them. Coronavirus has kind of put a halt on these, but I do Game of Thrones tours where the over Northern Ireland. So I basically get people onto a bus and I take them around all the old filming locations of Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the fact
that's amazing. That's like actually really good. That's the best thing about being out there. Everyone gets to go to all the locations you guys film.
Oh, we dress them up in cloaks and give them swords and let them run around and stuff, And yeah, it's brilliant. And I never get sick of it.
I'm sure you can. There's no way. There's no way you can get sick of something like that. Yeah. I literally rewatched the Game of Thrones waiting, just hoping that you guys, come back.
Yeah. So in that, it was basically I'm on the tour bus and everybody knows who I am and they're just really happy that they have me because they go, "This guy's lived this. He's gonna," and they can ask me basically anything about the show and how it was made, and I'm able to answer it. Absolutely no problem. So it really, I love the fact that they come on the tour bus and get a really unique experience where, it could be just someone that watched the show leading them around, but it's somebody that was actually in it, takes them around and shows them. And every day whenever they get off the tour bus. They're just like, oh, that was great, that was fantastic, this was great, and it just really makes me feel good. So and of course, then after the show ended, I went to a lot of Comic Cons in the States, so a lot of conventions, which
That's kind of
was
isn't that kind of cheating for you to go to a Comic Con and be your own character because you kind of already look like your character? Do you go as your character going to Comic Cons?
well,
Ah, you
I
cheater.
am I am just a big beardy, sweary guy anyway, so it's just me being me, really. You know?
Exactly. So it's like when people go to Comic Cons, they're like, yo, you get best costume, you get all these things. You literally are going to be in best costume every time because you are the costume itself. You're the man who
Yeah,
did it. So
yeah,
like, it's kind of a cheating way. That's a good way to cheat every Comic Con. Like, yeah, I'm him, but don't say
but
you're different. Like,
yeah,
yo, that looks just like him. Yeah, I don't know. I'm his lookalike. Just play the
it,
whole con.
yeah. It's really really fun. The only thing I found was I remember being in, where was it? Nashville. I was in Nashville, and the organizers of Con of Thrones in Nashville had given me a hotel room and a hotel straight across from the convention center. So um, flew in and went to the hotel, and I didn't know, but of course, everyone who was attending the convention was staying in the hotel. So I was kind of jet lagged because I'd flown all the way from Ireland, and then got in, got my room key, and then got into the elevator, and there was about six people in the elevator, and I was just standing, and they were all looking at me. They were just, and
That's the face.
I was like, "What the?" I was like, "Why are they looking at me, man?" I was like, "Wait." And this was like my first experience of like
It had to be, yeah.
of I've met Americans that have came to Ireland, but like this is my first real experience of Americans in America.
Yeah.
Apart from the guy at the front desk, and I'm going, what? They're looking at me, and I got out of the elevator, and they're like, "Oh, are you having a nice time?" And I'm like going, yeah. And I got out of the elevator and like kind of backed out and went to my room and just put my bag down and went, "Oh, they know me from the show."
They hit you later, like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
me.
The
I look
next
like him.
the next day, I was in a like a panel with, like, the room was full of people, and I had to tell that story. I'm going, guys, if the six people who were in the elevator last night are in the crowd, I'm so sorry, but this is what happened. So and like they put their hands up, and I was like, "I'm so sorry. I just thought you were weird and you were looking at me. You were weirdos. I'm sorry." Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm
yeah,
not used to it yet. I wasn't used to you guys staring at me. I know you're probably looking at them like, I'm gonna push these people if they don't stop staring at me.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think as a tall man, explain to me, how tall are you? I know on film they make people shorter for other actors and make them taller for other parts and sections. Tell me, how tall are you?
Oh, I'm 6'2". I'm the same height as Christoph Hivju, who plays Tormund in Game of Thrones, who is
Okay.
he's the big crazy guy, the big ginger.
The big ginger with the big hair and the
Yeah.
big beard that picks up people. Yes.
I'm the same size as him, and because I actually I worked as his stand-in for a little while as well. Whenever I wasn't doing in front of the camera myself. This is the thing about Game of Thrones. I did everything on that show. I worked in the armory department for a while. I worked in the costume department for a while. I worked in the assistant director department for a while, and then I worked in front of the screen. It was basically, I wanted to help make it
Yeah.
by any means necessary, and
Yeah.
it was a great way to whenever I studied theatre throughout my life, you were always made to study the stagecraft, lighting, and sound, and everything else. That way, that you knew the absolute ins and outs of what you were doing. Even though I didn't want to do that, it was necessary. So whenever I worked behind the scenes on Game of Thrones, it was a great lesson. I was on the world's biggest TV show, learning from the best people in all these different departments on how everything works, how the chain of command works, just how everything works behind the scenes. And then it gives you just a greater understanding of the industry, the acting industry, entertainment industry as a whole, so.
As a whole thing. And
Yeah.
the best thing about knowing all those things, if and when, you do go ahead and broadcast on your own, you know how to work it and automate it and teach other people. So that's the best thing about all that.
Yeah.
But let's get back to your highlight. What are we working on now? I know Game of Thrones right now is on the stop and hiatus, but what are we working on? You are no longer recognized as an extra. You cannot go backwards. No one is going to take you back, Mr. Mcclay. Sorry, they're not going to take you as an extra anymore. So now you step me into the whole actor world.
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
I am doing a lot of children's theatre at the minute because it's where I started, and it's where it is, I think, the true test of an actor, because children do not let you away with anything.
Oh, no,
you are in character all the time, and I love working with children where they get to interact with you, and you cannot make a mistake. You cannot drop character. They are testing you all the time with, what kids are like with questions. Why?
Why and how? Why and how? That's what all I want to know.
Exactly. So I'm doing a lot of that here in Belfast at the minute, and doing a lot of advertisements as well for different things as well. So that's helping pay the bills. Again, with coronavirus, it's with
so difficult to move around and
with the bigger productions. It's really difficult. So I mean, what was the film? Robert Eggers. I didn't get involved with that because I was doing theatre, but Robert Eggers, who directed The Lighthouse and directed The Northman, came to shoot here in Northern Ireland, and he came to shoot The Northman here in Northern Ireland, and it took, usually a movie takes about 3 months to film. It took him 6.5 months. It nearly bankrupted because of all the COVID restrictions that had to be followed and things like that, So it's very hard to get the big productions actually, running correct, running appropriately,
Well, that's good though that you are still making your way while waiting. And I heard that you still do live in Belgium. You stay out there after moving out there.
Sorry?
Belgium. You said you moved out to what is the city?
Belfast. Belfast.
So you stayed there after moving there for the film.
Yes, I love hearing that.
You didn't go back.
No.
So what is the plans while you're out there? Did you stay there because of the fact that your history and how long you were there? Or did you stay there on plans on knowing that there are more films and more positions out there for acting?
Exactly. Belfast is great because it's very close to Dublin, the capital of the Republic, and I can get to London in about an hour. The London from here is only an hour's journey by a plane, so it's very handy for that. And there's so many productions in London as well. So again, they're having the same problems over there with getting things shot and things like that. So Hopefully whenever it just opens up properly, So yeah.
So all you're doing right now is running in the air, waiting for your feet to hit the ground. Because as soon
Yeah.
as it
Yeah.
stops, you're ready to go. Because I
Yeah.
definitely need you back on the scene, back in everything. We are very grateful for what you're doing, and you are constantly doing it. So I want to pick your brain with these children films and theaters that you do with these kids. With these
Yeah.
action and movies, this is all in, of course, in Ireland. While
Hmm.
you are doing these, are these recorded films or these are all live audience, like you said that you went back to?
This is live audience. This
Okay.
live audience stuff. Where I have to obviously with COVID, social distance, and everything else in place, but it's all out interacting with not only children but members of the general public, who are walking into areas and I'm performing for them. It's uh it's brilliant. And I hadn't done it in so long because I was working so heavily on Game of Thrones for 5 years.
Mhm.
Because that took over my life. And like just to come back and do that again was brilliant. So um working with kids is definitely, it's like I meet a lot of guys who who want to be actors, and I can just tell straight away because I says, well, do you know what you want to do, man? Is get into theater, especially if you should do baptism by fire here, and you should go and do children's theater and see how. And they're like, no, I don't want to do that. And I just think to myself, you just want to be famous. I just
Yeah.
think you just want to be famous. There was a guy recently got in touch with me, and like I was like he messaged me on Instagram and asked me uh, how if I could help him do what I did on Game of Thrones on the new show. And so I wrote to him and I told him my story, and he said, this. I said, this is what you got to do, man. You just gotta get yourself healthy, get yourself big, use positive mental attitude. Find out the company that hires the extras out. Go on there, smile, turn up every day, smile, and do what they tell you to do, and it'll happen for you. And he wrote back to me and he said, "Oh, I was just wondering if you could just ask somebody to put me where you were." And I was like, it doesn't work like that, man.
You gotta
It
do the
doesn't
work.
work like
You gotta
that.
do the work.
It's like I always say, would I want to win $1 million, or would I want to earn a
Right.
million dollars? I would want to earn it because
The work that I
um,
put into it when you got it. Of
yeah,
course.
exactly. Because then when I spend it, it feels good because I know I've earned this. You know, Otherwise, like I've never really wanted anything handed to me. So you know.
Yeah. So when you said that to him, how did that fan or that person respond? You saying, I can't really do that for you. You do have to put the work in. Do you get that often from a lot of people just asking for the
No,
handout?
it was that one guy, and that just happened recently, and then he ignored me. So he ignored that response. And I was just like, whatever, man.
You're like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna figure it out somebody else then. Yeah,
You don't deserve this. You're just looking to have your face
on
on
film,
right there.
and yeah,
Yeah, it's not about that. It was, I guess, how I always. That's how I know I ended up being so heavily featured on Game of Thrones, was because I cared about the whole thing, not about myself. I cared about the whole thing. Everyone, it was like a big family. It was like a big team. So that was the difference. Um, so yeah, anyone that used to force themselves up to the front on camera, the directors would just go, get the goddamn camera off him, move
yeah.
it, just move it over. I don't want to see this guy. So, and like the guys like that never lasted because the production team would just get them cut because they were nuisances, like really. So it's all about, you know, in any acting job I do, I understand that I need to pay the rent and I need to eat, but I don't do this for the money. I do it because I love doing it. I feel alive. It's it's catharsis. It's food for the soul, you know. And I just think that that's just the way, you know, the way it should be done, you know. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
it's, I mean, like you said, if you put in the work and you work hard to do something, you should definitely be able to feel and that praise and that glory that you put in that work. And you are
Mhm.
definitely doing that. So I conclude you on that. So Game of Thrones, I have to go back because you know this is my show. I have to go back. When you first saw the gorgeous Khaleesi actress name
Emilia Clarke.
Amelia, oh, you beat me to it. Listen, let me
You're
get,
right.
and we working together. I like you. I like you. I love that. I love the
There
word
was
team.
that many. There was that many the cast was massive. I remember going to the one of the premieres. When was that? We went. It was the premiere of Game of Thrones episode season 8, episode 1, and they brought the entire cast out, and you know before they screened the first episode, and I couldn't. But I was like the amount of people on the stage. I was
There's
like,
a lot of actors and actresses in this. There's a lot of names to remember in this whole film. Like this whole,
yeah.
you guys
You know?
definitely. But you touched every single character. Every single character had their own storyline. Every single character didn't touch another character. Every single person had their own identity, profoundly perfect, even though they're a part of a whole group of North, South, or the Starks. How everything was made and peeled together and threaded together was per sound to the T.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
have to ask because you know everybody was obsessed with Khaleesi. Everybody was obsessed. So I have to ask, you know, if you have your wife, I apologize to the wife or girlfriend. But I have to ask, you got to give us a scale from 1 to 10 when you first laid your eyes on this amazing woman that walked on for this film. What did you say in your head? You can tell us. I want to know. what do you,
Do you want me to be honest? What I said to myself whenever I
100%.
saw her, I thought to myself, "Oh, ride me like one of your dragons." That's, that's what I said to myself. She's tiny. She's tiny. Amelia is tiny, but I remember we were all standing because we were because I was a Northman, because she was over in more foreign countries shooting. We were in Titanic Studios here in Belfast where the show was filmed, and we were out training, doing battle training out in the studio lot with the military advisor, and she came walking past, and like we were on a break, so we were like standing around drinking.
oh,
Everybody, and you're like leaning up against her.
oh Lord.
Not to get caught looking at her.
Of course.
And
Of course.
we still, so you there's about 200 guys standing, and
Scratching their nose, looking in the air, look at the trees in the air.
there was a guy right down the back of the right down the back of our big group, and he just like basically popped his head up and like shouted, "Amelia!" Like he ducked.
and ducked at everybody looking.
She turned around and she just looked at all of us and just was like,
Hi.
and we were like, "Whoa!" Like you know. Yeah, no, gorgeous and very, very sweet girl. Very sweet girl. This is the one thing that I found on Game of Thrones. I got on with all the actors. They were all so very, very um Nice. I guess, and the whole thing about that is because we were working so long, especially the last season, we filmed that over 9 months, every day for 9 months, and it was 15 hours a day. So everyone's there for that long that we just everyone got on because we were all in the same hell.
You're like, there's no point.
Whenever I say
hell, we all tired. We all doing the same thing. We all
yeah,
good.
I mean a good hell for me. But it was just like whenever you're there for 15 hours and then you've got to travel home, get to bed, and you're working really irregular hours, so getting home, sleeping for a few hours, getting up and doing it again,
Yeah.
and then coming back on and having that same energy. And especially for the actors, the main actors, because they had so much dialogue to learn and stuff, where me and the rest of the guys were basically running in front of the camera and
Just being angry and throwing things.
yeah,
I woke up my sleep like, oh, I'm so angry. I'm not so tired. I'm
yeah,
so tired.
the adrenaline just kept you going. It was fantastic, Yeah.
So tell me 3 things that you love the most walking into the film every day for 15 hours, 9 hours a day, 9 months for 15 hours. Tell me the top 3 things, other than, of course, is it your joy and heart and soul because you love acting as a part, it's your purpose. Tell me 3 things that you say that you learned on the set that you can take with you and say, like, I am now full blown actor Andrew Mcclay, no longer extra. Don't call me an extra because I won't be the extra ever again. Tell me about this experience that you had, the 3 top things that you learned on film.
The number one thing that I loved about the show was the people that I met. I mean, all my friends, and they're still my friends to this day. I met my friend Bobby during season 6. So when would we film? 2015. We filmed season 6, and a couple of years ago, I was his best man at his wedding. So,
And you met him on the show.
I met him on the show.
That's amazing.
And just the guys were just brilliant. We were all there, and I mean, we were extra work or supporting artist work is a lot of sitting around, but like a lot of people would think that that's boring, but not with those crazy. Those boys were just so. Like, there's always somebody doing something or saying something or telling a story, and there was always
it was entertainment while entertaining. You were literally being entertained while entertaining. This was amazing.
And if you look in the background of Game of Thrones, these people do not look normal, and they're not normal, and that's what I love about them.
I will 100% check that off. When I watch the background and the bloopers and everything that you guys do, I literally watch hours of every film, like the back scenes of everything, because I love it. I love how everything went through. But to see how you guys would, they'll be sitting there just like doing random weird things, throwing stuff, just laughing about weird things or telling stories. They were sitting there like the guy that you're talking about, your friend with the big beard and the big red, the big ginger. He had this one that he was, I think he was like playing like the banjo or
ukulele.
And I was like, everyone's just sitting there, like everyone's over there. And I was like, they're having a whole little kumbaya circle in the middle of their break time before they go back on film. And it's just like a whole family. You literally create a family on film.
You do, definitely.
You be a best man at a wedding. That clearly means you guys literally built together, regardless of being an extra or being a main actor or actress. You guys all came together knowing that this show that you guys were creating was going to be number one for everybody for this long. And we're so hoping y'all can come back and kill it again. But we know we gotta wait and we gotta see what you guys are doing. But literally, you guys held the grounds for 8-9 years.
Yeah, definitely. And then I guess the other thing that took away from the show was just learning how demanding film is, and knowing that I have what it takes to do it, knowing that, and learning all of, like I said before, like I couldn't have paid for my experience. I couldn't have paid for um to learn from the world's best people. Like even the camera crew, like it got to the point where I would come up and ask them questions. And the fact that they're the world's best people at what they do, and they would be really happy to talk to you and go, this is what we're doing, and this is how we do this. And the VFX guys, the guys that work with the green screen, the sound recorders, oh, this is how this works, man. Do you want to put these headphones on? Do you hear that? Do you hear that? And I'm going, yeah, yeah, yeah. So like they would be like um teaching you how
as you
it
go.
works. And I couldn't have paid for that. They were paying me for that.
Yeah.
And then
You learn how to do the boom speaker, so now you know how to listen to sound and the toxicity.
and just anybody in any department, it's because they love it. They have to love their jobs because they were working for 15 hours wrapped up in the freezing cold. You need to be mental if like, and these guys they were just so passionately mental about their jobs, and I love them all. I absolutely love them all. And then I guess the third thing would be what I learned from that show and takeaway was the power of positive mental attitude. It was I told myself it was never I'm going to try. It was always I'm going to do this. I'm going to say a line on this show. I'm going to get seen on this show. I'm going to make an impact on this show. It was never I'm going to try and do that. It was just like I'm going to do it. So now coming out of the show, it's like, I'm going to be an actor proper. I'm going to be a TV and film actor now, as well as a theater actor. I'm going to do this. Anything in my life now, I'm going to do that. And then it happens because
you want it, you see it, you do it.
Yeah, and that's anyone out there who wants to do something, just tell it, just go, I'm going to do that. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. I was always told as well that actors should or extra work would never lead anywhere. It would never, you always fade under the background. You don't become prominent. It's just something that doesn't happen for supporting artists. And I remember the people that told me that and just thinking, we'll see about that. We'll see.
Have you seen any of those people since then?
No.
I'm not saying but they see you. I'm sure they're like, oh man, I'm sure they've seen it.
Yes. So.
That's amazing. And that's the thing about when you do your work and you do it the right way, you don't have to push it or be the humble pursuit that you have is actually why you're still moving forward and doing what you're doing. Because yes, having positive affirmations on what you want to do is great, but you also have a positive attitude and you're doing exactly what it is. I do have to pick your brain because I know you say you know everything about all the shows. There was one episode or something that happened and there was a Starbucks cup and it was a big commotion. Like how in the heck does Starbucks show up? And back in the day, Starbucks wasn't created or anything. How did that mistake happen on that one episode?
Okay, right. So I'll tell you this. It's not a Starbucks cup.
It wasn't Starbucks.
It wasn't a Starbucks cup. It is a coffee cup. And I've heard like different variations of this story, but I was there and I'll tell you now what happened, right?
Okay.
In that scene, there's so many different characters. Okay, so you got to imagine that the director David Nutter wants to capture everything. So he has so many cameras. He has one set on Khaleesi, Daenerys Targaryen. He has one on Jon Snow. He has one on the Hound. He has one on absolutely everybody. So he's watching this on a monitor. So that coffee cup just slipped through, and I'll tell you why as well. Not only was there so many cameras, but Jason Momoa, right, who played Khal Drogo in season one, had flown into Northern Ireland. He was doing a talk show in London, right? Had flown in and was visiting set that day, right? And you hear Jason before you see him, right? I love him, but like whenever in between texts, he's like, "Yeah, woo," he's crazy. he's making Amelia Clark laugh. He's making everyone laugh. I mean, he's gigantic, but he's just like, "Woo, yeah, woo," and like everybody was like laughing and like joking around. And then when it came to the point, I think it's the only thing ever they slip through on Game of Thrones. I mean, I remember then there was a water bottle in the background on Downton Abbey, which I think was like, of course, set in England at the turn. My mother watches it. I don't watch it.
You watch it. It's okay. It's okay.
No, I don't. I'm a big fan of The Crown, but I don't. I might watch Downton Abbey. I might get around to watching it because it does look. But I'm a big fan of The Crown.
Okay.
But I think things just happened. But it was the fact that there was so many cameras in operation during that shot that it got through. And then, of course, what we like to call the Jason Momoa factor of him being on set. I love Jason, but he's a madman. He's
a madman.
Yeah,
so he put the cup down right in the shot of the camera.
Yeah, because his character went in season one. I always he was one guy I'd love to work with him. I would love to work with him. I just
he did die off in season one. Did he?
He died in season one, so I never got to work with him. I got to meet him that day. Everybody got to meet him because he was running around shaking hands with everyone. But I just seen him recently in June, and he's brilliant in it. So like, I'm such a huge fan of his. So I hope to work with him one day.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you got to be in a wedding for a best man on someone you met on the show. You have the biggest crush on Khaleesi. I'm saying, who would you like to? Obviously, you'd like to work on with the whole crew again. This is obvious that the whole crew is definitely family. You guys are also friends. You guys are definitely working on your own projects as you guys are moving forward. But when and if do you guys think you guys are coming back with a nice season? Or are we done completely with Game of Thrones?
Well, that's completely done.
That's completely over. There's not going to be a spin-off, a breakaway story.
Not set after. It's all going to be before.
Yes.
All going to be
We're not going to see our favorite actors and actresses coming back together.
No. They're all that storyline. That's where it ends. So everything now. There's animated series planned by HBO. I do know that. I know that obviously House of the Dragon, the trailer and everything's out for that. I'm so looking forward to that. And I'm really looking forward to watching this as a fan. I don't mind that I'm not on it because number one, it would be like, why is this guy in this? Because this is 200 years in the past. So from the original story. So it's I'm just really looking forward to watching the rest of it as a fan, so and moving on. I mean, like, Game of Thrones was such a huge part of my life, but I'm really looking forward to doing and telling other stories as well. You know,
Of
definitely.
course, definitely didn't stop at Game of Thrones, especially the way you were fighting and yelling and screaming. People are there's no way that's the end of you. I hope you definitely come out of Ireland and come to do some American films out this year.
I would love to. Yeah, I would love to.
I think you definitely should. I mean, like you said, it's not about trying, it's about doing. And I think if you put that in there and come across, and see what you got, I believe you'll
Mhm.
do it. Because, yeah, we definitely need some barbarians. Not saying it like that. I'm not saying you're a full barbarian, but the way you portrayed yourself, there's some movies that they put some people that are supposed to look barbaric, and they
Yeah.
definitely miss the line. So
Oh
you
yeah.
definitely a real one. So you and your crew need to come on down to America and give us some good
Oh,
movies.
I could bring some crazy. I could bring some crazy beards.
I
over.
believe it. I believe it. I believe it. There is some great talent and some big men out there in Ireland with you. You are
Nobody would understand what we're saying, but we would. You just tell us what you need, shout action, and we'll do it.
together. I
Yeah,
love it. You've
yeah.
definitely been an eyesight for everybody over here. And I tell you, for myself as a fan, I definitely applaud you and I thank you for everything you're doing and how you started. Like I said, there are people out here that do come from the extra life and they feel like the same as you. They were told that being an extra is that's it. It's a dead end for you. You're not going to go anywhere else. But you are living proof, Mr. Mcclay. You are living proof for everyone that's like, I'm gonna be an extra to whatever. I'll take the $33 or $15 an hour and take it. But knowing that if you go the distance, not being a nuisance and being in the director's face every 2 seconds, but doing your
Yeah.
job and
Yeah.
learning the background and just
Mhm.
doing exactly what they ask and expect of you as a professional, you can get a lot further and do seasons on top of seasons because extras don't even sometimes get seasons because they can get an
No.
extra tomorrow. They can get another extra tomorrow.
Yeah.
So for you to be an extra that was like, hold on, put this extra in the front. He's now extra number. He came from extra 490 something. He's extra number 3. I need
Yeah.
extra number 3 right here. Now from extra number 3 became a whole start. Like you literally built your character within the Game of Thrones and kept the ladder going. And I applaud you. VIBE95 applauds you. South Florida applauds you. I need you to know that you are not forgotten. You will never be forgotten. I mean, you didn't die off in the season. The season just all,
No, I survived. You're not supposed to survive. You're not supposed to survive Game of Thrones. I survived. That was.
I'm gonna say a lot of people. Oh, I'm gonna say you're not supposed to survive. A
Yeah.
lot of people live.
It's like the most dangerous
A dangerous game.
fantasy kingdom or fantasy world ever, and yeah, as nobody kills me. Nobody.
I was shocked that you said no. The will. I was shocked. No, like I said, you did amazing, and we will definitely speak more. Do not go anywhere. We are ending our beautiful, awesome, amazing broadcast, but don't go nowhere so we can switch each other's engines and everything else. VIBE95, you guys already know what it is. This is your girl, Lady here, with the amazing, 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 amazing man, Andrew Mcclay from Game of Thrones. And he is also a world-renowned theater for children, you guys. So if you are looking for a man that can make your children laugh and keep and stay in character, that's your man right there. Look at it. Look at it. You can't get that face anywhere else. You guys just can't do it. So VIBE95, thank you again, Kenny. Thank you for connecting us together with Don't Sleep Promotions. I love you guys. You guys have an amazing night. I'll talk to you guys soon. See you, South Florida.
VIBE95.